please. I'm drinking to get drunk, and then I'm going to eat my delicious curry, and I'm going to watch some shitty TV. I watched Predator last night. The Predator, the new one. It's shit.
Wait, well, I'm not familiar with this. Is it like the Arnold Schwarzenegger remake? Is it a TV show?
It's a brand new movie. It's a brand new movie written by Shane Black, who was in the first Predator, who's also written a lot of really good films. He's a good action writer. It is so fucking bad. Here's the premise. You're going to think I'm kidding. You're going to think I'm being silly. The premise is the predators, those the Yautja, I think is what the species is called, but that doesn't matter. They have been going to every planet in the galaxy and finding the most dominant species there, the most wily, aggressive, dangerous species, and sampling their DNA for generations now, and then applying it to themselves to hybridize their species and become bigger and better, smarter, faster. And for a time, they used our DNA, but in other places, maybe they found some giant race of people and they needed some of theirs. And so they have come now to steal autism.
Oh,
what does that mean?
It means they've come to kidnap an autistic child and apply his autistic DNA to their race to make themselves better. And this is the plot of The Predator.
I'm not one to, I have an autistic kid, and I wouldn't normally make fun of it, but if a predator race came and wanted to apply autism to themselves, I think I'd say, I support your efforts. Knock yourself out.
It's just a bunch of predators who just love My Little Pony.
Yeah, can I interest you in some Down syndrome? Soon you're going to be called the prey.
They make autism.
I like that, Woody.
they make autism seem like a goddamn superpower in this movie, right? This kid's like, oh yeah, I understand alien languages now because I looked at it for 30 seconds. I can also memorize chessboards. I'm incredibly antisocial and scream a lot, but the government will use me at the end of the movie to help them decipher the alien language and use their technology, I'm sure. You could totally tell that the studio came in and was like, let's cut out 30 minutes and add 30 minutes of horse shit. Olivia Munn is in it, who, look.
I like her.
Terrible actress.
They put all the predators there, dressed up on the orders of the autistic kid, but instead of capes, they're wearing weighted blankets.
That's funny.
They're soft. It makes me feel unsafe.
So much people with fidget spinners.
Does he read any Sonic fan art in the movie?
It's so bad.
Fan fiction.
Dude, Olivia.
That is, yeah.
Olivia Munn's terrible. She's a terrible actress. She's sexy as. She's a terrible actress. She's bad at acting. She's a sexy woman to look at. I'd love to fuck her.
And she's funny. I think she'd be a good podcaster because she was good at what was
Attack of the Show.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
That reminds me of the many podcasts I listen to hosted by women that are hilarious.
Yeah, that one. What's it called? Oh, wait, it doesn't fucking exist.
No, Nikki Glazer's on a podcast, and she's funny.
And it's bad.
Oh.
I've never seen it. I don't know who Nikki Glazer is or what she is. But Olivia Munn's garbage actress. Terrible at it. Her titties are lopsided and small, but she's very pretty, and I like watching her on camera. Anyway, she goes from a biologist or something they bring in as an alien biologist expert, even though she's never fucking seen one before, to immediately a hand-to-hand combat specialist with weapons training. She's shooting grenade launchers at spaceships. She's shooting machine guns in the forest. She's jumping around doing silly shit. They can't figure out what the movie's about. It's back and forth. Is it a ragtag bunch of PTSD veterans, or is it about this autistic kid and his Halloween night struggles with fucking predators? There's fucking predator dogs that literally just stand there barking. It was clear that they cut out a bunch of shit because the predator dogs get there. They show up as this ultimate scary thing. They're like, woof, woof. And the good guys all spray them down with machine guns that we never see them acquire. Somehow they go from prisoners to the A team, and they cut out the middle part where they acquire grenade launchers, machine guns, sniper rifles, tactical gear. They just have it out of nowhere. It's garbage. Don't watch The Predator. I spent $19.95 last night on
Wow,
The
you
Predator.
must feel like an idiot.
like an idiot. An idiot.
Kyle spends
Shane
a lot
Black
on
owes
his
you
media.
money.
I'm not like some people stealing from content creators. Yeah, who you
I
looking
will
for?
steal
Was
from
there a
any
mirror?
content
You got a mirror
creator.
back there? Is that what you looking for? Yeah. No, I pay for my content, and normally I don't like purchasing movies. Like I had been looking at this thing for like 6 days, waiting on it to go from $19.95 to $6 or $5 or whatever it's going to come down to for the rental. But I had my glass of vodka and I had my curry there, all spicy and delicious and steaming hot, and I was like, I really want to watch a movie while I have this delicious meal here. And I've gone about as far into Designated Survivor as a sane person with any kind of taste can go. I'm like season 2, episode 15, and it's gone off the rails.
I heard it does. Yeah.
Dude, that sassy Asian CIA, FBI agent turns into fucking Clubber Lang by about season 2. I literally, this is no joke. They end up in Cuba somehow. Her, a couple senators, and like the White House chief of staff somehow are in Canada and Cuba, get taken by a rebel group. She goes to the toilet, pries the floorboards loose, starts running through the jungle. 2 Cuban commandos have her at AK-47 gunpoint, and she and takes the gun away, knocks them both unconscious.
They lost
Then
me
she gets-
earlier in the season.
I
when
don't
that
even
British
like it.
M6 dude.
Let me finish this. It gets worse. She
Okay.
beats them both up real good. A couple whacks to each one. They're unconscious. These are full-grown, burly jungle men. She weighs 120 pounds tops.
I
She's
was going
a
to say
skinny,
15, yeah.
skinny little.
I don't
Asian
even
girl.
like when in movies they pretend women can do math.
What's she doing driving a car? So look. Earlier in the series, like episode 3 of season 1, she's like hitting a heavy bag for exercise, and she's so uncoordinated with her like pumping arm punches from shoulder level. It's embarrassing. And I remember thinking like, well, yeah, it's just exercise. She's not supposed to be a combat specialist. She's an analyst. She's an investigator. Now she beats these 2 men up. She runs a little more and she gets captured again. And then they get her back to like the cell that they're holding everybody in. And the leader of the rebel group is like, she killed 2 of my best men. That's right. She beat them to death with that little show of hand-to-hand combat. She hit them like twice each with her bare hands and killed them both. And I was like, this is the last episode I'm watching. That's it. I'm out. Because every episode, the episode before, she was in Afghanistan with a Secret Service agent off on their own, hitting an IED roadside bomb. They just hop out. They're fine.
I'm showing her while you're like talking about how badass she is. And yeah, she could weigh 110.
Yeah, skinny little girl. And a fucking Afghani sniper has them pinned down. Don't worry. She kills him.
With the pistol, I'm sure.
It's like
She had a
watching The
rifle.
Naked Gun, but really. Like Leslie Nielsen looking at his punches, but like treating it like, oh, this is a serious movie? I thought this was The Naked Gun.
Come the fuck on. Look, Designated Survivor season 1 is fine. Like you might enjoy it, watch the first season, turn it the fuck off after that. Because like then it just becomes a shitty version of The West Wing with a B plot that involves this Asian girl being like not just James Bond level. James Bond doesn't do the shit she does. It's so absurd and ridiculous and over the top. She's always like right in the thick of a global conspiracy, beating up henchmen, like grown men. I was in the gas station today and I saw this big dude in front of me. Like I couldn't see the top of his head. Like he's at least 6'3", 6'4", really much thicker, wider than me. And I was thinking, like, if I shoved that guy right now with everything I got, I don't think he'd move very far. These are the men that this woman is like, wah! And like killing. And I'm just thinking, like, I mean, he doesn't even know what's coming. He's got some Cheetos and a fucking Snapple. But I could barrel into that big motherfucker.
I need a car.
And he'd turn around and he could beat me to death. He could kill me right here with his bare hands. And I better hope I get a good eye gouge or crotch kick in. I better use some of the, that's my purse! And fucking kick him in the crotch or something and run for it. Because, like, I got no chance against this man. He might as well be a different fucking species than me. He looks like an NFL running back.
They need a feminist empowerment score for movies. Like, what do you got here? You got a.
It's time to film some bullshit.
Female Batman.
Bullshit.
This is up to a 10. You know,
Girls are strong and they're leading the way. Like, time to film some bullshit. No, I'm tired.
Hey,
of
I've
it.
been told reliably that the future is female. So we have to all pretend we're all the same and that women fighting isn't totally ridiculous.
I'm not a sexist. I'm just a realist.
I'm okay with women with superpowers fighting.
Totally. Captain Marvel.
Well, the
I'm
superpowers,
excited.
that negates any unbelievability of it. You know, I'm not even a superhero fan, but if I see Wonder Woman or Captain Lady or whoever the big women ones are,
Yeah,
like
Captain
and
Lady.
they beat
You
up
say
and
you're
they
not
beat up a guy,
superhero fan?
it's like, okay, well that's a superhero. That makes sense.
They can
but
even
like, when
beat up
Kyle's
other
talking about it-
superheroes, right? Because not all superheroes are created equally.
Sure.
I just saw
Yeah,
Thor
that's
get beat
believable.
up by his sister on a YouTube highlight today. And yeah, sure enough, yeah, she's one of the
Yeah,
big
she's
strong
much-
baddies.
Much stronger.
Yeah, I don't fucking care about the superhero movie thing, but it is like
Unless it's Batman.
It takes you out. It takes you out of the moment when you're watching a movie and something like that happens. So what Kyle's describing, where a woman beats up like a 6'4" muscle-bound Hulk,
Yeah.
and you're like, God damn it! Couldn't you have made it like a 5'9" like engineer who like just happened to be walking there and like you beat him up? Like it's just.
Oh my
it's
God, I found
ridiculous.
it. I found the scene. Hang on. Let me skip to the part where she beats these men to death.
There's gonna be music on it though.
We can watch it
I
on mute
guess.
then.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
We could, that's right. You could try that.
All right. Yeah, there is some sort of like
There's
tense.
always a soundtrack. Dun dun.
It's like tense music playing. Yeah, I think I timestamped that appropriately. I'm queued at 134. This is called Designated Survivor 2X11. That means season 2, episode 11. Hannah's Escape.
Let me just put
Ready.
her on the screen. Ready, set, play. So she's walking through the jungle, rainforest. I don't know. There's a guy with an AK. Two guys with AKs pointed right at her. She goes, oh, there she is. She's grabbed one gun. She's kicked the other gun.
They're dead. They're dead. That killed them. That killed them.
Oh, wait. Now there's like 17.
I'm shocked she didn't kill all those guys too.
She killed two of my best men.
That's literally what
dead.
he says.
She kicked him in the
shocked
thigh.
that she wasn't like, there's 15 of you. Oh, too bad. Could have even the odds were 30.
Yeah.
And when she'd thrown the gun aside and be like, she's supposed. I don't know what she's supposed to be here.
I'm going to watch it again because
What I want with one of these shows is
I
like
love that
The
they're
woman has had
dead.
enough. That's what she is, Kyle. She's had enough. She's had enough of the constant comments and catcalls and the disrespect. She's had enough, and she's manifested it in her fist.
So the one guy she kicks in the belly, I guess that's the death blow. The other one she backhanded on the chin. I assume that was the fatal blow.
Broke his neck. Ruptured that other guy's spleen. He bled out internally immediately.
I love
Who
that
the
they're
fuck
dead.
is this for? Who are the boomers that are watching this? All of
Wait,
entertainment.
why are
is
you
dedicated-
attacking boomers? You know they're millennials watching this. Boomers aren't doing this.
Woody?
Dick.
This has boomer written. Even the lighting does. It's all
Does
boomer.
not.
This
When
is
boomers
boomer.
made shows, and we're talking about my parents here, not me, for people who don't know what a fucking boomer is. But when boomers made shows, women wore dresses, they danced in high heels, they got paid half as much, and they certainly did not beat up men. They were sidekicks and wives and support staff. This is not boomer shit.
This is a fucking boomer show. The boomer that was their boomers that were doing the Captain Kirk fights and Uhura in a skirt, and that that was the silent generation, the greatest generation fueling that. This is pure boomer nonsense.
It is not. It is not. My parents are boomers and they are currently 70 years old. You think they're making this? No. This is the influence of a
my parents are
millennial.
boomers. I guarantee you my dad watches this fucking show. They're both 65 and 68 or whatever. That motherfucker watches shows that have killed men. He'll watch it. It'll be so bad people will have died. They put Surgeon General warnings in front of the television. My dad watches. He still watches the fucking show, and it's full of shit like this. I'll sit there and I can feel my brain rot as I'm watching TV with him, and it's exactly like it's.
That is not what my boomer parents watch. My boomer parents have given up largely on lots of TV because it's not right-wing enough. They have found various YouTubers who are right of Fox.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Your boomer parents know how to use YouTube?
Parents?
Yeah, they're all over YouTube.
Your parents are into YouTube?
That's where they find the truth. That's where the truth is, right? Because
that is the next level. You have millennial boomer parents. My new TV. I don't have cable. We watch everything through the internet, like Hulu and shit. My father doesn't even understand it. I've given him a fucking TED talk on how TV comes to the internet, and he's like, "Well, how do you watch TV?" Like, buddy, you don't know either way. It's just a magical wire that comes into the fucking house. Don't pretend like your version. Don't pretend like you have any kind of knowledge of this. It's just a different remote and a menu. That's bullshit. That's not TV.
My grandparents did that same shit where my grandma got really into Game of Thrones because I told her to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And like she would text me out of nowhere and be like,
Grandma, it's got sex and violence. You'll love it.
My grandma is from deep southern Missouri, grew up with an outhouse, and she's like, now Taylor, you're all caught up on this show, yeah? I'm like, yeah, Grandma, I'm all caught up. She's like, now I just saw in season 3 the Red Wedding, and my Lord. My goodness, I did not. How do you even watch this show? This is so great. And then she got to the end of where her streaming capability ended because she lived so rural. And I kept trying to explain to her what she'd have to do for her internet package to make it a little better so she could stream, like speaking Mandarin. Eventually, I had to just be. I just literally bought her all of the seasons on DVD.
Yep.
And that was the winning combination. So she could watch it on her 12-year. So she could watch it on her 12-year-old TV. In this giant, wonderful house that has a stripe down the middle of it where nothing is... Dick, you don't know this. My grandparents live in a very nice home. They do well for themselves in a very rural area. And they've had the same TVs for 14 years, I think. 14 years they've had the same TVs. Like when flat screens were new, that's when they bought them. And now there are giant stripes in them where you can't see anything, like a black stripe in the middle of the screen. And I was sitting there over Thanksgiving like, Grandma, how are you watching this? She's like, well, I don't even notice it anymore. I've just gotten so used to it. I just don't even notice. And I'm like, what? You owned thousands of cattle a couple of years ago. You can afford a TV. Like, you're fine. She's like, well, it's just a lot of trouble, and I don't want to go to Best Buy and have somebody try and sell me something I don't want.
Are they retired now?
And so no, they still work because they're from that generation. They like continuing to work. But I know they don't listen to the show. They literally don't listen to the show. This came up over Thanksgiving where my grandparents, somehow it came up, and my grandma was like, I have still never listened to that because it would just break my heart for you to hear the things that I know you're saying on there.
You're like, it absolutely would. Yeah, absolutely. I fully converted my dad at this point. Like, he's got his 4K TV. He's got he still has Dish Network, like the satellite thing, but it has
that's old as fuck.
But it has a channel that has all the streaming services. Like Netflix is a channel on there. I was like, wait, there's not like a whole different app? He's like, nah, just go to channel 236. That's Netflix. And I was like,
they boomered it. They boomerfied it.
Oh shit, yeah, it is. All right, now we're in Netflix, and you just sign into your account from that channel, and you're in. Yeah, it was. I couldn't figure it out. I was standing there for like 10 minutes trying to. I was like, I felt so dumb asking my dad how to get Netflix to work, but I was like, how do you change? I'm changing inputs here. I'm going to the main menu. Like, where's Netflix? I know you got it. I saw it last night. And he's like, channel 236. And I'm like, what? What do you mean?
My grandparents are so old.
What are you
with
talking
it.
about, Dad?
We want to rent a movie at my grandparents' house, and we're there overnight for Thanksgiving or Christmas. We still have to physically call the pay-per-view thing and place the order on a phone like it's 1,000 years ago. Isn't that insane to be like, I want to watch this movie. You pick up this landline and call.
I remember that. I had completely forgotten that was even a thing. That's so long. That's literally like 15.
Yeah,
it's over 15 years ago. That's like almost 20 years ago that was a thing. That's crazy that still exists.
Dude, I'd be at a hotel, right? And the hotel, I'm on a business trip. And in my head, I'm like, well, it's fairly reasonable, $12.95 or something to watch a movie. I'm up here. I'm away from home. Like, what am I supposed to do? You guys owe me whatever. So I'm gonna put a movie on the expense report. All right, no big deal. The problem is that regular movies are $12.95 and porn is like $14.95. So if that shows up on the expense report, then they know what you did. Therein lies
Who's
the problem.
paying for porn?
Oh, well.
You had
when
to,
you're on
man.
a business trip in 2003.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
You don't have time to download 64 parts of a file over a 14.4 modem.
Hotels don't even have Wi-Fi in that day and age.
I remember like loading single images on the family computer when I thought I had enough time, and like one would like slowly load, and then like 2/3 of the way through, you're like, this one isn't going to do it for me, so you have to go back. And then find another one, and then like at some point it just got to that like crux where you're like, this is gonna have to do, like this is gonna have to be the thing I use right now because I don't have time. I could hear people milling about upstairs, and I'm playing a risky game here, a game of Russian roulette with my cock.
I've told this before, but yeah, it used to be that pop-ups were out of control on the internet. Yahoo had pop-ups. Everything had pop-ups. Stupid X10, whatever. But porn sites, you'd load a porn page and you'd get, no lie, 32, 60 pop-ups. They pop up all over. And they'd pop up, and I'm like, the joke's on you. I like this too. This'll do just fine. Yeah, you thought you were getting one over on me, but I like all your choices.